In this session, motivating your workforce to behave safely for duty holders, managers and supervisors. Our objectives for today's workshop are to encourage workers to identify the key risk-taking behaviors that lead to the top 10 fatalities in construction, to show workers that the causes of fatalities are often minor, to remind workers that if they do not die they may end up with a health condition or disability that may stop them from working. In this session you are going to get your group to think about their typical working day and get them to brainstorm what they think are the main causes of fatalities on construction sites. Top 10 identified causes of fatalities: fall from a ladder, fall through a fragile roof covering, during lifting operations, being struck by moving plant, falls from scaffolds, fall down an internal void, asphyxiation by fumes, crushed by falling excavation, trapped and crushed by MUP. Exercise 2. What are the behaviors or actions that would have happened just before this fatality occurred? Why might this have happened? Think about the management, policy, procedure, worker and team. Exercise 3. What could you, as a frontline operative, do differently to avoid that fatality from occurring? What do you think management and the organization could have in place, or do differently, to prevent that fatality occurring? This session is to get the group to think about behaviors and consequences. We are going to look at the ABC analysis. When we want to investigate the things that lead to safe or unsafe behavior, we sometimes use ABC analysis. It helps us look at those behaviors and work out whether they are likely to happen again. We can use this information to reduce or remove the things that will lead to unsafe behavior and reduce or remove the things that keep making people behave unsafely. We can also use this information to do more of the things that help people work more safely and to encourage them to keep on doing these. Okay, so let's break the ABC down a bit more. In the next slide you are going to show the group an example of the ABC chart, so just briefly go through what the ABC stands for. Okay, this is an example of an ABC chart. The activators are the factors that contribute to risky behavior. Here we've got workers not wearing hearing protection, which is unsafe behavior, and a safe behavior is the knowledge that there is hearing protection you can use. B is for behavior. That is the behavior someone takes. It can be something someone does to keep them safe, or it could be risky behavior. In this example we have a risky behavior because someone decides not to do something. In this case it is wearing hearing protection. But the alternative is the safe behavior of wearing the right PPE for the task. C is for consequences. You ask yourself, if I act safely or if I take risks, what will happen next? What might happen sometime in the future? Think about this example. If you have a trainee straight out of college placed with a group of workers who do not bother wearing their PPE, what do you think will happen? Yes, most likely you do what everyone else does, so as a consequence of your behavior it might not just affect your life or your health, it could affect someone else. Think about the situations where you've had an accident or where you escaped a serious incident. 5 examples of poor safety behaviors. Not wearing RPE/face mask when curb cutting, using vibratory machinery or block cutting. Silicosis risk. Using gas heaters/generators in enclosed spaces without adequate ventilation. Plant drive walking in front of an excavator while the plant was moving. Storing paving slabs off-site that then kills a young child clambering over the slabs. Raising a tipper lorry without checking for overhead power lines. Things to remember. There are a variety of consequences to poor safety behavior. Some take longer to show themselves, for example occupational asthma, poor hearing, This is not just about getting killed. You could be left with a disability or poor health. Prevention is straightforward. Everyone is responsible for the health, safety and welfare of workers in this company. This includes you, your workmates, supervisor and manager. Remind workers of the situational awareness SLAM technique, that is to take control of their work by stopping if in danger. Session 3. Objectives: to think about the consequences of engaging in poor safety behaviors. To understand that even when things appear to be right, not everything will have been anticipated, meaning that accidents can happen. An operative is not using ear protection whilst using a pneumatic drill. Someone thinks there's Bob not wearing hearing protection again. What happens next? What happens in 5 years' time? What happens 20 years on? Worker on a scaffold wants to paint a gable and read the thought bubble. He goes to get a ladder rather than a scaffold as he should be doing. What happens next? Someone is repairing a leaking roof light on a fragile roof using a young man's board. What happens next? Someone is about to go down a 2-meter excavation next to this JCB, which is in operation. What happens next? This session is to recap on what we have discussed in this training / during these sessions. Go through the key messages. The simplest of things can cause fatalities. Accidents happen for a variety of reasons. Accidents can happen as a result of something someone else has done earlier. Disability and death can happen in the present as well as in the future. Prevention is straightforward. Everyone has a shared responsibility. There are ways of overcoming barriers. Workers have the right to stop SLAM